You are listening to The Thought Leaders Show with the world's cutting-edge, hottest innovators, influencers, and impact makers today. If you are looking for inspiration and motivation, listen in. Welcome to The Thought Leaders Show. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Shirley Holmlund. Shirley is a gifted and spiritual healer validated through science who harnesses life force energy from nature and transmits it to people to enhance their health and well-being, as well as non-living materials such as nutraceuticals for improved performance. Shirley's energy healing abilities have been validated in preclinical scientific research using both cell and mouse-based models to suggest better bone health, increased overall immunity, and enhanced quality of life. Welcome, Shirley.
Good afternoon, Tammy. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Today, I think I'd really like to talk about intuition because it's something that it really reflects on us if we trust ourselves. And I think intuition is a big part of that internal trust and also the trust in life force or the God of our understanding or our connection to that life force energy. So Shirley, tell me more about your take on intuition.
Well, intuition to me is for an individual, it's a deep awareness and a creativity and imagination. And as you had stated, it becomes personal power, a power of real trust. Trust, if you lose your trust, you lose your. In any way, I feel that my intuition is hampered. Because it's a power in the depth of the soul, in the mind, body, soul, and spirit experience. And you can pay attention to the wise choices you make and the process, and when you process this experience. The intuition in the depth and the authenticity of the self and knowing who you are as you move in and follow each moment. We talked about the presence, and as we move in the present moment and are in the present moment, our intuition has that space in order to connect. It connects, and we move into the flow of the moment, and we open to experience. We're open to experience, but we have to be discriminating in the decision making and using our common sense and our wisdom in the final analysis. It's creative and practical, without gullibility. However, optimism does increase our intuitive attitude.
And do you have some examples of being intuitive? For me, again, a lot of people liken it to a gut feeling. You know, they just say, I just knew. Or sometimes our intuition has actually helped to protect us. Do you have any concrete examples you can share?
Yes, I have had two experiences driving that would really, if I hadn't have listened in that exact moment. It seems that intuition comes just at the exact moment that it is needed. And these were two examples. I had been driving out on the road early in the morning to Saskatchewan. And I had gone through a smaller city and was just coming out the other side. And I was following this vehicle that was driving quite slowly. And it was early morning and I was just being very relaxed. And all of a sudden I got this very loud intuitional voice. And when I hear that I hear that voice and have that feeling, you just automatically go. I just go into autopilot, and it just said, "You must pass this car right now." So I went probably from about 65 to 85 in about a minute, and as I got past that car, a very big rock was thrown. I don't know where it came from, but it was thrown at my car, and it just is like somebody took over the wheel for a moment, because I wasn't really frightened. I wasn't anything. I wasn't anything. I just hung onto the wheel and just kept going. But it really kind of unnerved me, because I had, been told that I had to pass this vehicle very quickly. So when I got home, I thought, well, when I got to Saskatchewan, I thought, well, there will be obviously a mark on the side of the car, because it was a very big bang. But when I got home, there was absolutely not one scratch on the car. So that was the first time. And then a couple of years later, it was another evening. It was a very busy evening, and I was driving down, taking some friends down to a smaller center just south of Calgary here. And there were 3 rows of traffic, and we were all driving. And we have to be very careful there, because sometimes deer cross the road. But we were on there was a guard rail there, and usually that is sort of to prevent the deer from coming over. But I was in the middle lane, and we were all driving, the speed limit. And I was just told, slow down, just slow down. So I just slowed down probably about 5 kilometers per hour. And all of a sudden, this biggest buck deer I have ever seen in my life came right across the guardrail, jumped right in front of the car, right to the left of me. And it was just, I bet, 2 or 3 inches from my car. And it went past me, and it really hit the man on the right, or the car on the right-hand side. It was just horrible, actually. It was just horrible to watch. And the man, he was obviously a very good driver, because he was able to control the vehicle and bring it to a stop, which prevented everything. But he couldn't see at all, because it had wrecked the whole front of his car, and the hood was his hood was, he couldn't see it because it was up over his windshield. So there was another incident that was on my mind for a very long time, to have just known that if I hadn't slowed down that 5 kilometers an hour, again, the whole outcome would have been very different.
Wow, those are 2 really dramatic examples. So when you think about tuition, where does this knowing come from?
To me, it comes from the depth. I think it comes from the depth, the soul part of us, and that connection that we have to our source, as you said, to nature, or the God of our understanding. But for me, I went through a time about 3 or 4 years ago where for 6 weeks it was there constantly. 24 hours a day. When I woke up, it was there. It just made life so easy. It was just such a joy, the biggest joy I have ever experienced in my whole life. And I was given so much information about everything. And I just had to ask one question, and I would get visions and answers and everything. And it happened for about 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of went back to its normal pace, and I'm still waiting for it to come back to the way it was. So I'm not sure what that was all about, but I keep hoping, and I keep trying the best I can to get it back to the way it was, because Mr. Trivedi talks about that higher self, that connection to the God, to our connection to the GPS system, the computer to the satellite, and when it's there, it just changes everything. And I just love to watch how the Trivedi group, the Trivedi masters, how they master that the intuition that is available to all of us as we continue our journey.
So with intuition, and you said that there was a period of time when it just seemed like you were just really, really connected, and that your intuition was obviously working at way over capacity. And what was happening in your life at that time that you feel opened you up to that situation, where you were so connected that you were in such a big flow with that?
Well, I have to really connect it to Mr. Trivedi, because I had just been down to see him at a retreat, and then I came back, and about a month later, I had called him, and he had introduced me to some people, and through that, I think it was just connection to some people. He had asked me to connect with a particular person, and then it just all happened. And I didn't know, I didn't do anything. And I think that's what is so interesting about it. I think, like, if we keep our cause and effect on the right, the universal laws of our honesty and our integrity and clarity about who we are and so on. I think that it will happen to everyone, because I think happens is maybe for me, I think I moved into a very new level, and then all of a sudden, I don't know why, maybe it was because of my old habits, my perception, my ideas, that we cling to for safety of who we are, and you know what I mean. And I think I had such an openness and such a trust, and wanted to move it, and was just so open to that, to be able to do this. And it did. It opened, and it opened so amazingly. Like, I could even see things. And it was just like so natural. You could look at something, and I would be given some information, and you would actually see it. You could actually see it, and then you could ask another question, and then you would get the answer just immediately. So I know that, and I know that it's there. And so, and it does come once in a while. It does come back, but it just doesn't stay. So I still think that sometimes I experience, this hibernation where I'm not connecting all the time at the level that I can connect and should connect. And I fall back perhaps into, from probably some past experiences, and probably from some of the experiences that I experience here in my life from day to day.
Oh, that's really interesting. And just for our listeners, can you talk a little bit about what the Trivedi effect is, or who Mr. Trivedi is, so that they have a context of how you're connecting intuition to life force energy?
Yes. Well, yes. And that is one time that the interference isn't there. That is one thing that I can do, that it is getting deeper and deeper. So perhaps this whole intuition thing is opening and opening. It keeps opening. So I will keep you informed. But the Trivedi effect, Mr. Trivedi I have been working with him now since the beginning of 2011, when I first was introduced to him on a webcast. And he was, I had been following energy medicine for many years before, and even had, followed some people as well that came through Calgary and so on. But I was never really hooked on any particular person. So one day I heard a webcast about Mr. Trivedi, and he was discussing the life force, and he called it the Trivedi effect, and how he connected his, he was able to transmit this life force energy the God of your understanding, or nature, and he was able to change the efficacy of the recipient at the molecular and the cellular and the atomic levels. And he had all the scientific, get over 4,000 scientific experiments that were done and authenticated and in peer reviewed in universities throughout the world. And I just after listening to him, I knew that this particular person was a person I really needed to follow and get to know. And that's how it started. So I started by listening to him and getting his transmissions, and finding that very quickly I had physical and mental things that changed very quickly, and my health certainly has just it's changed almost 100% now, even from then. And then about a year and a half later, I asked if I could join, if I was a candidate for his Healing Mastery program. So he came through, had come through Calgary, and he gave me the okay to do it. So I joined his Healing Masters program, and it was all very interesting. We just had the most amazing experiences. We've had. He's taken us a trip to India, and we've seen the science labs. He was the one that has got the scientists from a very the best science labs in the world. He has actually helped the scientists develop scientific tests for us to do, and we have done it remotely, and we have been authenticated that we actually are able to transmit this energy. So we are now busy doing websites and getting ready to help move this energy into helping others in the world, and as little sparks, I would say, of what Mr. Trivedi has been doing. I always send people to the TrivediEffect.com to really take a good look at the science and what they are doing and what Mr. Trivedi is doing, which is so tremendous, and it's going to change. So it's changing science, and it's going to make such a difference on so many levels as he progresses in the next while throughout the world.
Yes, the science is really amazing, and the fact that you participated in the science and became scientifically validated is also pretty phenomenal. I was looking at some of the results from some of the science you've been involved in related to health and skin health, and one of the benefits was a 340% improvement in skin health and a 300% increase in bone health. That's a pretty remarkable increase when you look at cell and mice-based models that you're working on in a scientific environment. That's pretty phenomenal. So you actually work with different people also with the life force energy. Can you tell me a little bit about the biofield healing that you do?
Yes. Did you want me to do talk about my own what I do myself, what I've been doing myself, or what I've been doing with the small group?
Whichever you would like to talk about.
Okay. Well, for myself, I am open, and I've been doing lots of practicing and working on people. I have a few testimonials that are on my website now, and I am working into making it as a business. But right at the moment, I have been working on adults, mostly adults. I am very interested in working with children. I have seen we have been given some examples of how this energy can help children in every way. and because they're so young, they're so innocent, they don't have a lot of belief systems and so on, that kind of can cause some blockages, and this energy that's transmitted to them, you can see it on their, in their presence and their focus and and it brings to the forefront their abilities, and they just seem to be able to become just amazing young people. And the two people that I'm speaking about, I'm just in awe when I am speaking to them. As a teacher, I just think that this is a wonderful time that some of this energy can really help children and help them to become very successful in their endeavors. And it can help anyone, and pets. We are, I have also in a small group, there's a group of 7 of us now, and we've been looking at ways in which we can maybe move into areas of agriculture and help plants and trees, and particularly growing of food and in the animals and in the plants. So we haven't done. We're just working on it, and we're just connecting with some different organizations and doing some of our own experiments.
Oh, that's really phenomenal. I think the beauty of life force energy or biofield energy is that it works, like you said in your bio that I read, that it basically works not only on humans and animals, but as non-living things also. And that life force energy is so important. You said something very interesting when you were talking about children and limiting beliefs, about how children don't have, the closed limiting beliefs that many adults do. And that's why they seem to be more receptive. And the same with animals and plants. They don't have any beliefs about whether or not life force energy exists or is real or is helpful. Have you found that that's true about why life force energy seems to work so well with children, plants, and non-living things, is because they don't have that limiting belief?
Yes, I think that you explained that very well, Tammy, because I feel there is a level of awareness and of consciousness that we really need to reach in order to be able to and an openness there. I mean, I can bless people without them knowing. If I always ask for permission, I have a very good way of knowing whether this person or whatever should be blessed or not. But I find like plants and trees and young children they're so open. They don't have a lifetime of traumas and dramas and thought systems and being stuck in the past or being stuck in the future most of the time instead of being in the present. And once we start being open, I find that when people start to actually open, and when they actually will listen to you and say, well, there is something here. I think I'm really interested in it. It seems to work so much faster and so much better than if you try to bless a person who just, I do have a few friends that just say, we don't know what you're talking about, and it's very hard to convince. And when it is in that way, it's very hard to change. It's much more difficult for the energy. It does work, but it takes a lot longer.
Well, I think that some people are just closed because I know, again, you said it, people who've lived longer, they have a lot more drama and trauma and belief systems ingrained in them. about the way things are supposed to be. And some people just are more comfortable being open-minded and learning about something that maybe they can't see. It's just like having faith. You know, in Christianity, they say, you know, you have faith in God. And even with life force energy, if you call that the God of your understanding, it's not religion. It's just that life force connection. And I think that that's one of the things, you know, that we're really witnessing on the planet today is there's certainly a group of people who are open to understanding and open to the science connection of life force energy and God or of your understanding. And then there's another group of people who are like, no, that's impossible. It could never be that way. And that's just the way the world is, you know, and we have groups of people who, you know, are very open and trusting in their intuition about the way their life is. And then, of course, another group who maybe they don't have those same feelings. I'm always really surprised when I meet different people and you'll talk to them, like you said, some of the people you know, and you'll talk to them about something like the intuition, and they'll give you this look like they have no idea what you're talking about, that feeling of knowing. They don't have it. So maybe there are just some people who are just, again, more open to that connection and the energy more than others. I don't know. But it's really an interesting topic when you think about it, about intuition and what it is and how, like in your cases, it was very protective, you know, and like get out of the way, speed up, slow down, you know, of doing this or that. And for other people, it, like you said, it might just be in our daily living in terms of how we operate, you know, and very simple. And when we're in flow and we know that we're on the right path, that is a form of intuition and knowing. And most people do connect that to life force or to, you know, being connected to their divine in some way because they feel calm and in flow and they have that trust. And I think trust and intuition do go hand in hand in being, the more you trust, the more your intuition seems to be aware. Your awareness of all things seems to grow. Do you think that that's accurate?
Oh, I think it's very accurate. Thank you. And I really feel that, like Mr. Trivedi is saying, you know, we are bridging science and spirituality because they do go together. And of course, on our planet, at this point in time, it's still a very new concept. And as he says, you know, it is a connection. There can be no tricks or tactics. You cannot find any, you know, any method. There is no, you know, we don't have an actual anything that we specially do. It's just connecting. It's a connection to the God of our understanding, which helps to connect others to the God of their understanding, to actually in the end, when they get that connection, and it will change their body, mind, spirit, and emotions. It's very intelligent. We don't tell it what to do. We don't need to. It's a very intelligent energy, and when it's transmitted to the recipient, it will do what is most needed to do at that particular time. And so, you know, if there's 2 or 3 or 4 issues, it will take the issue that is most need at the moment of that transmission. So there's just no tricks or no tactics. It's either there or it's not there.
Wow, that's really interesting. So Shirley, if somebody wants to connect with you and find out more, how can they do that?
Okay, I do have a website, Shirley, at shirleyholmlund.com, and on there is information about how you can contact me. There is, I am in the process of making some changes to it right now, but there is my phone number. You can always connect with me through the phone or through the email, and I will connect with you.
Okay, great. So that's shirleyholmlund.com, and you can connect with Shirley there. And of course, there's a beautiful button right on the front where you can just put your name and your email, and it'll help you connect with Shirley. So Shirley, thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation about intuition today.
Thank you very much, Tammy. I've really enjoyed talking with you this afternoon.
Everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to the Thought Leaders Show. To get all past shows and to get all future shows, go to thoughtleadersshow.com.